Yeah. Hey, hello everyone. Today I'm having very special guest, and he is having very deep knowledge of cybersecurity, or I can say he's cybersecurity expert, and he's none other than Offer. Currently, he's working as a CPO, Chief Product Officer for one security tool, and today he's going to walk through about that tool, why that tool is very important, and this how cyber security things are very important. So I think we are working as a QA. Lots of the folks I have seen, like, they are not working on cyber security things, so they are testing the application, and we are seeing, like, lots of cyber security things, server hacking. I think recently we have seen, like, AIMS server, it has recently hacked. So I can say, I think it was, security lacking somewhere. Now over to you, Offer.
Okay, Sachin,
Yeah,
thank you very
welcome.
much. So let me maybe just a second. I will share my screen. Okay, do you able to see my screen maybe?
Yes, I can see.
Okay. So nice to meet you. I'm Ofer. I'm the CPO of Pynt. Pynt is a cybersecurity company focused in the API security testing space. And we wish to lead the API, the first security revolution. So let me have some intro, then we can, jump to the problem space of API security today. What is the trend of shifting left security? Move maybe to a short demo about Pynt, and then tell you about our initiatives, so you will be able to join the party. So let's start from the problem. So why API security became such an issue in those days? So we all know that APIs are everywhere, not only as public services, but also as implementation for internal services like microservices and all. And basically, we don't have today the security measures of APIs. Security is done only in the right side of the map, only for production environments and by security people. But there are not enough security people that can handle all those security issues in the API space. And today we know that there are a lot of accidents in the API space, a lot of security accidents. You see here just small or few examples of how it's important, to secure your APIs. Companies are actually losing their confidence and losing their reputations because of API breaches. And this brings us to believe that APIs should be handled for security testing from the beginning, from the moment the APIs are being developed. So this brought us to handle this issue previously. So who is responsible for API security? Is the security teams, developers, testers, DevOps? Today, mainly the security teams are handling the API security. And this, as mentioned, bring us to this point that security is not handled in the testing phase. It's handled only afterthought, after production, and brings us a lot of security incidents in the real life. But why developers and testers are not handling security today, and especially API security? There are a lot of reasons for that, and we researched some of the problems. So one is it's very time consuming. We don't have time in our day-to-day job to do also security testing. It's something that we have so many responsibilities, and security is not the one of the first. Lack of context. We don't believe that security tools can actually know what is our application context, what is our business logic. We don't have knowledge about security. We are not security experts. And if we are running security tools, it's difficult for us to understand all this security lingo, And also security is always bad news, the sky is always falling, always catastrophe, and we don't want to deal with, bad news all the time. And we don't like security because the current tool set is not so cool, it's some complicated systems like, you're familiar with Burp, that you need to be basically a security expert in order to drill down to it. So Shift left is the new trend for security, and there are a lot of, as mentioned, the benefits for this shift left. It's reducing friction. You don't need to, having the security teams to audit you after the talk. You can prevent most of the problem and give a more qualified product to the other people in the chain. It saves time, faster development, because the ping pong, once you found a problem in later stages, is always you pay a lot more for it. Security team can be more focused on auditing and not on solving and testing all the products that you gave to the production, but only to try to find issues as part of the auditing. And eventually, there will be much fewer security incidents. And as you know, today, there are already tools in the security space. Some of them are SCA tools to scan your third-party code for known vulnerabilities. There is also static scan tools that actually scan the first-party code to find 0 days, to find new vulnerabilities in the first-party code of the company that develops the code. And there are also dynamic scan tool, which is more similar to the API security testing tool space, which actually actively trying to find vulnerabilities behind a certain application. And in the API example, basically the tools are dynamic. That means that your versus a running environment, you try to find vulnerabilities. Let's say you develop something and runs the application and then try to penetrate or to find problems dynamically for this application. So this is the third category of security tools that is very popular. And now let's move to Pynt. The problem today with the security tools is mostly they are security-oriented tools. They are aiming themselves to security people, mainly Berg from the dynamic side, which is more the persona that needs to run it. It's more like a persona which is specialized in security, not like everybody can, just start and run it. So at Pynt, we try to, have the security tools be more like a tool that everyone can run. So we do the job of automating all the security tests for you, for the developer, for the tester, as part of this day-to-day job. And also we do not require the tester or developer to learn a new environment. It can, continue to work in his own environment. And we started with Postman. Postman, as you know, is a very popular tool for, developing and testing APIs. So we embed our security solution inside of Postman, and you can work with it as your regular job, as your day-to-day job, to run automated security in few minutes and then achieve the results very quickly. So basically, as said, we are creating automated dynamic security tests, integrating it into existing tools like Postman, getting accurate results without need from you to have a configuration. All you need is to provide your current test, your functional test, and we are automating all the security around the functional test. We provide clear results, like additional bugs that eventually needed to be solved. And we are, engaging all the Postman community and other API security or API testing and development community, to be part of this revolution. So when we talk about basically about API security, before jumping to the demo, basically we are focusing first on several categories, and there is a standard for API security by a non-profit organization called OWASP. And OWASP brings us, the top 10 categories of API security. And part of our support in Pynt is, to cover all those 10 categories and generate automated tests for you in those 10 main categories of API security. Just to give you a few examples, like there is a BOLA category, which basically it's business logic related issues that you can find in your API. I will give you an example, like if you user X and can access data of user Y, it eventually can be a problem. And as a tester, you don't always look on those negative scenarios that relates to security. Other, very popular security incidents comes from injections. So, for example, SQL injection, like an attacker tried to inject something in your database and maybe to run something from your system. So it's a very severe attack that we can, find those vulnerabilities in your environment, and you can fix them before releasing them to the next stages. So those are just few examples. So let's jump to the demo. I will show you a short demo about Pynt. So Sachin, can you see Postman?
I can see.
Great. So I will show you this example. So in this example,
so PPT was very self-explanatory. Even everyone can understand, and you explain all the points. I think I understood like API is very important. Like you have shown lots of examples, right? Yeah. So you can carry on about. Yeah.
So let's say you develop your APIs and you already develop some functional tests around your API. So basically, you can start with Pynt by forking Pynt collection. We have the public workspace of Pynt. This is the public workspace, and you simply fork Pynt collection. And we also provide some example of a collection to test a vulnerable app. We called it Go. This is a vulnerable app collection. And what I did, I just forked it into my workspace. So now we have Pynt and Go in my workspace. And before I run it, there are a few simple prerequisites. One prerequisite is to run a Docker command. As you can see, there is this documentation of Pynt. So there is one command line that you need to do. You need to have the Docker desktop installed, and then with a simple command line, you need to run basically Pynt container. So you run it. I already ran it, and the service is up and running, so I can start. The reason we provide this container is that you will be able to run all those dynamic tests as part of your environment, as part of your local environment. Because if you develop a local API, you want to test it, you don't need a SaaS system or something to generate and send you a test from outside. We allow all this engine to work in your local environment, and that's why we enable this local Docker in order to run it from your environment. And the other things is you need also one time to set some variables. Basically, those variables are to let Pynt work versus your environment. So one is the API key. Basically, there is we explain here how to generate your API key if you don't remember it. So Postman has some API key which identify you in Postman, and we need it in order to connect our test into your collection and environment. And the other one is the collection, is the actual collection you want to test. In this case, I will test the Goat application. So you can put here the collection ID or the collection name. So this is the explanation how to put here the collection variable. So one time you do those two configurations, which is the API key and your collection. The other ones are less important. You don't need to touch it. So what you do is just running Pynt. And the automated security test is going to start. And what we are doing here basically is we are actually playing or running your test collection, your functional test collection, and analyzing all the data behind your functional test collection. You don't need to provide us the story. We are learning the story from your functional test. So we can identify what are the APIs, what are the parameters which are part of the APIs. We are analyzing the requests, the responses, and we are building a complete picture of your environment, of your APIs, which are participating in this functional test. And once we do this analysis phase, which is very unique to Pynt, other tools like Burp, they are just they want you to learn them. What is your environment? What is your story? But we automate all this part, for you, and we build a complete picture. And then we are in a very good point to start a security test. So we are generating dynamically security tests which adjusted for your environment, for your APIs. We are, as said, we are covering all the OWASP.10 as part of those tests. And basically, after few minutes, you see it's already finished. We are able, to give you the complete picture of your API. You can see a short summary, but you can also go here to the show report, click on send, and then simply click on visualize, and then see all the report for your, findings. We show you all the endpoints that you have here, security summary with all the tests that we did, and also the failed tests, and also all the detailed findings. For example, this is the problem that we talked earlier, that I was able to, generate access to data of another user, not the first user, the second user. So this is a very severe problem. And we also told you what are the endpoints, how to fix it. So this is about this problem. Other problem like broken user authentication, which is obviously very severe problems around authentication, data exposure, rate limiting, other stuff which are part of OWASP.10, which was found in this example test, and also security warning, which are basically practices that you need to apply to your APIs and all the affected endpoints as part of the test. We will provide very soon even a more comprehensive report that will give you a lot of other interesting stuff around your API security. So as you see, all this stuff is part of your existing environment. You run it in 2 minutes, you get full coverage for API security. You don't need to be an expert, just, be aware of the bugs that are part of your development and, go to the solving phase. So this is basically our system. And if you, of course, wish to run it versus your collection, all you need to do is to go to the variable section of Pynt and replace your collection. Instead of the example goat, put here the name of your collection or the ID. If you have several with the same name, you can put it the ID of the collection and then run it and get immediately the results of the security. So this is basically a short demo of Pynt. To add one more, we have also a Newman option. If you know Newman is the CLI version of Postman. So with one command line, simple one command line, you can run the same from Newman, from the CLI, and take it later also to the CI/CD. Yes, because Newman is the CLI version, so you can bind it to the CI/CD, to, for example, GitHub Actions. So the same exists also as part of Newman, and you can take it to the CI/CD. So this is a bit about Pynt, and maybe the last thing, Sachin, I can talk about our website and what options you have there, how to engage with us.
So before this, I'll say, can you go to the report? So the way you present, right, the Postman you have showed, right, the example, the report it's generated Postman report is really brilliant. It's just telling like what is security is leaking and how to fix, right? You are saying, right, this is a fixer, how we can how where the security leakage and how we can fix. That is really brilliant tool. I'm really impressed. And so I'm having one question. So when we are executing using by Pynt, so if I'm having one test case, one collection, so one collection having one example, like it is having one endpoint. So one endpoint, it is going to test 10 times, 10 security. That tool is, checking all the 10 OWASP, right? Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
so it's like multi-dimension. When you put a collection, we are learning all the APIs that are part of this collection. And we are, for each API, there are some cases that APIs are telling us a story. There are maybe some hierarchy around this API. Maybe there is an API for authentication. There are several, roles for APIs. So we are basically covering all the OWASP.10 categories versus all your APIs. So it's like a matrix we do for testing all the categories versus all your APIs. And in each category, category is a big thing. It's for example, injection can be hundreds of injection tests. So we are doing a lot of dynamic tests, which we are generating for all your APIs, which are part of your test collections.
So is there any limitation, like sometime only 5 test cases will execute, or every time it will execute all 10 test cases? Any limitation? So any
So
collection? Yeah. So
mostly if there
yeah.
is a limitation is around your functional test. So let's say, for example, if you give us a functional test and only one user is part of this test, let's say you have only user X with data of user X, so we cannot test the BOLA category because the BOLA category talks about user X getting data of user Y. So we tell you,
Yeah.
please define two users in order to us doing the security test for BOLA. And for example, there is a Buffalo category, which is an admin user and a regular user. So if you define only a regular user, we cannot do this category. So we tell you in your functional test, please define two types of users. Yeah, one is admin and one is regular user. Once you do the functional test, we know how to generate the security test around those two types of users. So the limitation is basically bind it to your functional test. If the functional test is very comprehensive, also the security test will be very very good and very comprehensive. So we are going side by side with the developers and tester. As long as he improves his test, we can do a very more advanced security test. But we give you all this input as part of the report, what is missing, what is need to be improved in the functional test also.
This is really good. I understood. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe just to complete the picture, what we offer today, what you can do in order to take part of this revolution. And we really believe it's a revolution, because we believe that if it's very simple for the developer, for the tester to do security, they know that security is important. But today the tool set that they have is not for them. It's not like they can just start using some security tool in a moment. And as you see, this is something you can start doing, in few minutes, you can have the security covered in your place. So it's really, I think, a revolution that we want to bring you. All we need is that you will take part of it and try it and tell us what you think. So basically, we have also a website that you can access, sign up to Pynt. I will show you it in a moment. So let's start from this side. So you just put here, pynt.io, and you get to our site. And this is basically the call to action. You can start running it from here. Also, we have a YouTube video to cover all what I talked. We have a YouTube tutorial video, 3 minutes, and you are onboarded to Pynt. You have here also other stuff like, the Newman integration that I talked with you today earlier, the CI/CD part. So all this stuff, you can start examining it from here. And the other thing which I wanted to show you is there is documentation that you can access from here to know more about Pynt. You can see the tutorial video, prerequisites, all the things from also from here. So it's another exciting thing that you have. And let's get back to the site. You have here the community, which is basically a Slack community that you can join, and we will notify you about other enhancements. You can report us bugs and other exciting stuff from our Slack community. And the last one, which is very exciting one, is badges. Today in the social media, it's always good, to learn a new skill and to show it off in the social media, like you have a new skill in your tool set. So in this case, we offer two kinds of badges. One is the early adopter badges for Pynt, and the other one is the ambassador badge. And basically, you have all the instruction here how to get this badge. For the early adopter, it's simply, running Pynt versus your own collection. And once you do it, you can earn the early adopter badge. You can just send us a mail with some details and we can send you the badge. And the other one is the ambassador badge. Ambassador badge is a badge that if you refer us to 3 friends, or even, share your experience with Pynt in the social media, you send us a mail and you get basically the ambassador badge. So I encourage you, to read it, and to try Pynt. As you see, it's very easy and will give you a lot of value in a short time.
Yeah, thanks over for walk through about this website. And one point you said, right? Nowadays, social media is very good platform where you can share what you're learning. So I think learning and sharing, that is very, very important. If you're in IT industry, right, you need to learn and you need to share in the IT industry. Then you'll automatic get the growth. So like this is very good. Like the people, they should adopt this tool and they should learn how they can use and how they can execute the collection. So now I'm having one question. So nowadays, some tools is already exist for the security testing. I can say like OWASP, JEP, and one more called like burp suite. So how this tool is different from from those tools? So might be some other tools also available.
Yeah, it's a very good question. Both of them, by the way, also ZAP from OWASP and burp suite are like dynamic tools, are from the same maybe category of Pynt, but they are very different in their nature. Pynt is very focused on the API security testing space. So Pynt is focusing on the categories for API security. ZAP is more generic tool, and it also not so easier to start with. It's not like you as a security, a non-security persona can start, as you saw, in 2 minutes and activate it. You need to be more expert in security and to provide more information to the tool. It's more like a security oriented tool. And also burp is like a tool for pen testers. It's not like something that integrated in your environment. It's a whole new world of dynamic security testing, and it's also not focused in APIs. So if you want to have some focus tool to test your APIs as part of your development process, I don't think there is another tool today like Pynt, and especially giving it you as a free community version. Like you can just run it from Postman and have the results in a few minutes for your API, which is very dedicated to APIs and to cover the categories for API security. So that is the main differentiation.
Yeah, thanks, Ofer. So what I understood, like if you are the beginner, if you're not having much idea about the security, you can easily adopt Pynt, where there is if you don't have much knowledge of the security, still we can use the Pynt tool. But for Verb or OS, you require lots of knowledge of the security. You should be the expert, then you can easily. Good.
Yeah,
That is very
Pynt
good.
is basically offloading all the automation of the security. We automate the security, and the advantage we have is that we are reading your functional test. We are playing it and reading all the results from the actual run of your functional test, and that put us in a very good point in order to generate a very focused API security test for your specific environment. We don't give you the responsibility of learning the tool and providing all the info about your system. You give us the functional test that you already wrote. You already did the functional test, and we take it from there. So this is the main thing about us.
Yeah, good. And next question, is this tool free? Anyone can use directly, or they need to purchase?
So this community version is free, and it will be continue to be free. We are going to have more and more security tests around it and provide you a value inside your development tools, not only as said in Postman, also in Newman, and also we are going to support very soon other environments like connecting it to PyTest and VS Code. So there are a lot of more integrations that expected very soon, and they will be free. We will provide other enterprise version later on, but those enterprise versions will be more around collaboration and integration to API management tools. So there will be more advanced support in the enterprise version. But this community version, so everybody can run it, will be free and will be free forever.
Community version is free, anyone can use directly, so no need to pay anything. And now comes to the security things, like when you are going to adopt any new tool, so the company, any company, right? It could be like MNCs, could be, same level 5 company. They will check the security, like how secure that tool. Some tool like, the Google, they are removing lots of app from their Play Store because those applications, they are, trying to steal data. They are leaking the
Yeah, yeah.
information of the user. So
It's
when
it's a
anyone
very
going
quick.
to use this tool, so like,
Yeah.
definitely you are going to play with the data. So
Mhm.
the data, are you storing like somewhere, or just you are doing, at the user end, just you are using, and just you're destroying, you're not reading something. So I think it will help for the user, like if they're going to adopt this tool. So
Yeah.
this answer definitely would help to everyone.
Yeah, of course. So it's very good question, and we, by the way, have a very well organized privacy policy that you can, read it and be calm around this question, because it obviously interests everyone. What we do, just to give you the full visibility of it, so we don't need your actual data. For example, if you have some privacy around your test, like you're doing a test and you put there, John or Mary inside of your test, a specific name or specific mail, we don't actually need the PII, and of course we don't give it to anybody. We are encrypting all the tests that you are running once we analyze them, and we just take the model from your test. So, for example, we know how to identify a name, we know how to identify a mail, but we don't need the actual data, and we encrypt everything. So there is no fear of losing your PII or us transferring it to anybody. We just analyzing the models to be able to generate a security test for you, and all is mentioned, of course, in our privacy policy also.
Good, good. Thanks for answering this question. I think this is, very important, question, because everyone,
Agree.
they will check, the quality of the tool, how secure that tool, and are they encrypting the data, which algorithm they are using. So thanks for answering. So definitely I'll add, the documentation. I think you told, right, it is having in your policy. So I'll
Mhm.
add those policies in, YouTube videos. So like people, if they are having it out, they can go through, they can read what is the
Of course.
policies.
Everything
Yeah.
is also in our website, and in Postman there is a link for this, so you can, read it anytime.
Good, good. And what's about this community? If anyone is going to use this tool, if they are facing any issue, so they can reach out to, the mail, or might be the Slack. You told earlier Slack, right?
Yeah.
They can join the
So
Slack community
yeah,
and they can.
yeah, there are a lot of ways to communicate with us. One is, just drop us a mail to support at pynt.io. One other very good thing is the community, because we answer very fast there. We have people there that answers questions. So the community Slack via the site is a very good option to communicate with us. Also from GitHub, you can, drop us tickets from GitHub. So there are a lot of options how to reach us, and feel free even personally to reach me, so I can help.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Offer. They need to just make a fork, right, of that repository, and that
Yeah,
repository, it will help to execute all the test cases.
yeah,
And
of course.
second things, they need to, install that images you said, right? Is
Yeah, the
required Docker
container, the
image.
Docker container. Yeah.
So
So
only two
that,
things are required. It's very easy, right? This
yeah,
Docker
yeah, it's
container,
something that you do one
one
time.
image. Yeah.
One
And
time
yeah,
you run the Pynt container, one time you fork the Pynt collection, and then you can run us forever. By the way, the collection, because it's forked, it's like a derived from Pynt collection. You can always update it. Right click, and as you do in Postman, you can update it from time to time. So you're always connected to the
hmm,
main branch. And yeah, and also our container, you can we are updating ourselves automatically. So once you one time download your container, you can be sure that you're running versus the newest version of Pynt. So as you
good,
saw,
good.
it's just one time onboarding, very short, and then you have security. This problem is behind you.
Yeah, yeah. So even I have seen, like, the installation execution is very, very, simple for this tool. I have seen like if you want to adopt any new tool, right, you need to do lots of configuration, do that, do this, do this. But here, just simply click, it is generating the report. You required one image, you required, one copy of, this Pynt available public repository. Just make a copy, fork it, and start execute. I think it's very easy. Yeah.
Very
So,
easy. That's why we're here. We truly believe that, as testers, developers, we are very busy. We don't have time, to be expert for security. We need someone to help us, to offload this burden from us, to help us. We will do our job is to, reflect the bugs, solve the bugs, but we cannot, be a security expert in no time. And this is something very good to start, I think.
good, good. So now coming to, you talked about some things, shift left. So what's your message for shift left for security things? Because, people, they are not working on security. I've seen many companies, right? So yes, they are developing, and they are, doing security testing at the end. So what's your message for, all the QAs, all the companies, all the security expert? So for this, shift left things, like when they need to start,
Yeah,
and who is responsible for this as well? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that the message of shift left is do the things the earliest possible. So do not postpone things to other stages, because if you minimize problems at the earliest stage, basically the development process will be faster. Your company will be able to develop faster, to deploy faster, and the problems that will be revealed will be a minority of the problems, not the majority of them. Because as we know as testers, if we don't test something will come up later. So don't wait later. If you can do something automatically in the previous stage, go ahead and do it. So this is a message not only for security, it started from QA, it's continued to DevOps. We're all doing things end to end in order to, spare processes and, minimize friction. We don't need a security people to work with us hand by hand all the time. We need to do our side, and then they will do the audit. This is their, they have a lot of other areas to cover. So they will do the audit eventually, but we need to provide them the quality code, the best thing we can. And now there is no excuse, you have a tool, at least for the API security, to cover this part. So there are no excuses. We can give them a more qualified code.
Yeah, thanks, Hopper, for this, wonderful explanation about the shift left. And this is responsibility for, everyone like developer QA. We need to start security testing as early as possible, so that we can catch the issue as early as possible. The cost would be, very less. We are going to develop, very quality product, very secure product for the community. Yeah, good, very wonderful message. Yeah, thanks, Hopper, for connecting, and thanks for walk through about this product. And the slides was very wonderful, and the demo, it was really brilliant. The report having lots of power, like detailed information, where like we can see like what why this task is failing, how we can fix, and all the 10 test cases, like 1 to 3 OS we are testing all, and which where is the problem, where is the gap, and how can we fix. Yeah,
Thank
very
you very
brilliant
much
demo.
again. It was a
Thank you,
pleasure
Offer.
to be part of this wonderful session. So keep in touch.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
all you are welcome to try Pynt, of course.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a pleasure to having you on this platform, and this is going to help for all the QA communities, all the people who is going to watch this video. I request to everyone, just go through this tool, just set up your system, just check. Like if you're not working, just share within the communities, like how this tool can help, because lots of people, they are not aware about the security, how we can test the security. Just learn, grow, share. I think this is a message I'll give to the community. Thank you, Offer.
Thank you. Thank you very much again, and have a great week.